we are building the next generation of women who thrive, of women who lead.
Welcome to Women Thrive podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast with Women Thrive. My name is Ramonda Jan and I'll be your host for today's show. And my special guest today is Kristi B. And I'll introduce her in just a moment, but let's say hello. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Where are you joining us from today?
I am from Florida.
Yes, I can't wait to meet you in person very, very soon, Kristi, as we headed there for our incredible book launch event. And of course, you are one of the authors for the Women Thrive book. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about leading with purpose and living with balance and how to perhaps overcome perfectionism, self-doubt, and find purpose and confidence in whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe seeking out for a new career change, want to step into more leadership, or just want to live your life with more purpose and joy. So, my guest today is Kristi Brown, an award-winning leader with over 10 years of experience in healthcare and hospitality industries. With an MBA and MS in science management and clinical leadership, Kristi has seamlessly blended her healthcare expertise with proven strategies in leadership. So, as a leadership and career development coach, she's passionate about empowering women in healthcare to unlock their full potential. And drawing from her own career and her experiences, she knows firsthand just the challenges that most women face, especially in the male-dominated industries. And she helps women to navigate them. So she is a fierce advocate for women, helping them develop the confidence, leadership skills, work-life harmony needed to thrive in their careers and prioritize their well-being as well in the personal lives. Kristi, this is going to be a great conversation because I know a lot of us, especially as high-achieving women who want to succeed in life, perhaps struggle with that work-life balance, but also perhaps confidence to really go out and get what we want in life. So first of all, Kristi, I just want to say welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. It's just an honor to be a part of Women Thrive and the movement that you have going here. And I'm excited for our conversation today. I'm excited for our listeners to get value and walk away with some purpose and some intention today.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me a little bit more about your career right now and why you're passionate about doing what you do today.
Absolutely. So I live kind of double life, I guess you could say. So I do currently serve in the healthcare industry. And so I'm an administrative level leader in a hospital setting. Love, love, love my job. I am so fortunate to have the capacity to interact daily with patients and work with women and men in the healthcare industry who are passionate about serving others and doing what it takes to commit to that because it's not easy. And so that's my 9 to 5. But aside from that, I am also a leadership and career coach for women in the various fields of the healthcare industry, which includes community and public health. And most recently, actually, I've had some clients from the dental industry. So I think that just speaks to the patient experience and how women of all health industries, those that serve others, are really interested in becoming better leaders so that they can live with purpose and make the impact that they really want to make. So those are my 2 industries. And in my formal professional role, it's going very well. I've been nominated as a award-winning leader for 3 years in a row. So we'll see if this could be year number 4.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. And I'm sure it's not an easy industry to be working in, and as well as to be a leader and support others. What is it about leadership that you believe stands out, especially for women to have leadership roles in today's environment?
Great question. I would think that healthcare leadership in particular is a very strong suited role for women, especially. And this is because it allows you to have the power to make decisions. And if you employ the right tools and mindset, you're making decisions that have lasting change on not only you, your team, your organization, but patients in populations who are at the greatest need of hope, promise, care. And so when you're able to do that as a woman, and maybe you are someone who hasn't had the capacity, the strength to make decisions autonomously, this can be a very empowering role for you. And you're able to tap into something in you that maybe you've never been able to see before, something that you didn't know existed. And so while you're having the opportunity to grow other people and make an impact in other people, it becomes kind of a feedback loop, and you're doing that within yourself also. And so I don't think a lot of people think of leadership that way, but it's very beautiful in that way if you're able to practice leadership for the right reasons.
Amazing. So, as we're speaking on leading with purpose, what do you think is leading with purpose and how would you define it?
You are just asking fantastic questions. Leading with purpose for me has really been about leading authentically and leading with the courage to be vulnerable. Definitely in my early years, leading in the hospitality industry, I did not have that courage. And so, even in my early years leading in the healthcare industry, I did not have that. Luckily, I was fortunate to have mentors who saw my potential because I did not see it in myself. I can't confidently say that I led authentically at that time, but I was good at leadership because I was still failing to be true to myself. But my perfectionism was my shield for that. And not a lot of people could see that. So it wasn't until that I started to tap into my authentic self and practice leadership that aligned with my values that it really became purposefully. And to tie into that, I really think my career started to take the quick slope up when I was able to see that you do not have to let go of yourself or work 24/7 to be a good leader. I think that's a large misconception that you have to give up yourself and your family time. So when I found the capacity to be authentic and lean into what my values were in my leadership and pair that with work life health and harmony, then I was able to really make an impact, really make a difference. And that's when my career took off. And so I really try to encourage that and show women how to get in that mindset and get comfortable with the uncomfortableness of going through that transition in yourself.
Oh, amazing. I love that you touched on authenticity and leaning into your values. And really, once you stepped into it, you just felt truly aligned and successful also in what you're doing. You also touched a little bit about being a good leader. And I'm curious in your
Mhm.
eyes, what do you think makes a good leader or a great leader?
In my early career as a naive leader, I would see the women who drove the room, commanded the room. And so I admired that. But then you go to your team and you hear the team talking, that woman scares me. When she walks into the room, we're terrified. We don't feel comfortable around her. So it was quite an experience to be. I was a supervisor at the time, and it was quite an experience to be speaking with other supervisors and then my subordinates And here I am thinking this woman is the epitome of leadership. Look how she commands the room. Look at these decisions that she's made. Look at she's an administrator in a hospital. I mean, I want that. That's great. This is what I need to do. But when you go back to your teams and the people who work on the same level as you and they don't share those thoughts, it was a moment of realization like, I'm striving to be this thing, but this isn't what they want. My coworkers don't want this. My team doesn't want this. I mean, so what I learned was leadership is not just about having the ability to push the bottom line or command a room in meetings. Great leaders are able to serve their team. And you hear a lot about the phrase active listening, but active listening is more than just sitting and listening to this podcast while you're driving or whatever it is. Active listening is making sure that you practice emotional intelligence when you're having conversations, responding back to your team, and then taking action that they need so that they feel supported. And so those are things that I really think great leaders need to learn to do more of and have that in their daily practice. Because when you're able to do that, then you can inspire change. And that's what great leaders do.
Yeah, amazing. You touched a little bit about perfectionism and self-doubt. What role has it played in your life? Or how did it even evolve? Or where did it start from? And when you recognized it?
Yeah, so this is just very personal for me. It's deep in my core, but I talk about this a little bit in the book, and I talk about it a lot in the book, but perfectionism started at a very young age for me. My parents drove a lot of that. My situation with my sister drove a lot of that. And because of those young experiences and growing up in a culture, societal culture where, you're being told that the world is your oyster, go achieve it, go be great, do great things without a lack of guidance or support or mentorship at a young age, all of that combined really made perfectionism all that I was. And it wasn't until I had a series of failures and self doubt and confidence core shaking experiences that I realized, oh my goodness, this practice of perfectionism is not serving me and it's pulling me back and it's pulling me down. And I need to acknowledge it's there and do something about it. And so had already graduated college, felt insecure about that accomplishment, and was feeling insecure about failing according to my parents' expectations. And it was during that time that I went back to square one and started my career journey and my life journey over again. And that's when I started battling out perfectionism. So,
Wow, interesting. And your story is quite interesting. A lot of the times we talk about overcoming adversity and trauma. And with some parts of your life, I know your parents and your loved ones meant well, but even with meaning well, it doesn't mean that it didn't put pressure on you, right? To be a certain way and perform and achieve, and therefore causing a lot of perhaps challenges and heartache in your own professional career and your pathway.
absolutely. You'll read about this in the book, but even now, I am proud of everything that I've accomplished and doing new experiences like this book and being more honest about and vulnerable about me, Kristi, as an individual, is even an experience that I hesitated to share with them despite overcoming perfectionism because battling your self-limiting behaviors and your self-limiting thoughts is like anything else. You have to work at it daily. You can't just take the throttle off because it'll come back. And so I felt some of that coming back when I was going through this experience. And so I had to employ some of my own tactics, do a little bit of Kristi's self-coaching. And I think that we often forget as women in this world that we have to continually, you hear the word self-care, but you need to self-coach as well so that you can continue to be strong and resilient when things you thought you had overcome fully come back around.
What advice would you want to give to someone who perhaps striving new career advancement or new career move, but that fear and self-doubt, it's truly creeping in, stopping them in their tracks?
My advice would be definitely seek out a mentor. And whether that is someone within your industry, someone you meet in a community such as this, Women Thrive, seek out someone who has been through the experience that maybe you are going through, who has been on the career journey or personal life journey that you've been through, because they're going to be a trusted source and support you. Having a circle of support is a tremendous win for anyone. So I would definitely say mentorship and start working on your confidence now. So, so important because you're investing in you and you're being your own cheerleader. And if you don't start there first, how are you going to convince others of your capacity and your capabilities? And so I would definitely say those two things to all
Mm.
young career women.
Amazing. And it's always inspiring and refreshing to hear. And you've shared in such a personal way and opening up about some of the vulnerabilities and challenges and kind of about your journey of how you got here. Because if you look up to any successful individual, a woman, it was never a linear path that you just became successful overnight, right? So there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be pitfalls and failures along the way. And I know failure was something that perhaps you shied away from or was a scary thing to face. How did you start to accept failure as part of that journey?
I am a little bit old school. So for me personally, I created a fail book and I had a win book. And so part of my strategy for overcoming failure was to write down that failure. And that was my way of facing it. And so when I thought it was mostly in my young career when I was new into supervisor, but I would write down the failure. I would write down what I thought about it, why I thought it was a failure, and one or two actions that I could do to prevent it in the future, what I could learn from it. And so that moving forward, I didn't think of these things as failures. And so adding some of that positive mindset to it was really helpful. And so periodically I gold myself at going back. And so you'll see over time as you write down these failures, you write how you're feeling, what your experience was, and how you are going to actively choose to overcome it or think differently about the failure. Then the fail book list gets shorter and your win book list gets longer. And it's quite a beautiful thing to see that transformation in paper right in front of you. And I still have both of those journals. And so if there are really trying times in my life or my career, then I have those to reference and it's a reminder of my resilience.
Yeah,
So,
and how far you've come, because I think without the failures, without the trials and trying and doing it over and over again, we wouldn't learn the lessons. We wouldn't be where we are today. So if you want to be a high achiever, if you want to get to a particular place in your career or your business, you gotta go through those things. And only later on when you look back, like I know I used to be afraid of running workshops or webinars. And it was the hardest thing, or to record a video. It was so hard. Now when I look back, I laugh at how I truly felt at that time. And I was like, of course, I mean, I just get on and you do it. You grow, and when you look back, you feel really proud because we forget the things we had to overcome along the way.
yes.
Yeah. So you co-authored a brand new Women Thrive book, which is an amazing compilation of inspirational women like yourself who share their stories of overcoming adversity and really is to inspire other women who might be striving to have more success in their lives and their careers, overcome something really challenging. What was it like for you to sit down and actually write your story and know that it will be read by somebody else?
For me, it was very uncomfortable. And as a leader, I preach, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. But when I first started writing this chapter, I mean, I ran. I followed the guidance. I said, okay, I'm just going to put stuff on paper, but it took a lot out of me because I think I haven't, until that point, I hadn't really expressed how the negative impact perfectionism had on me, honestly, with other people. Sure, I navigated it within myself, but to really marinate in it was something that I wasn't mentally prepared for. And so it was an alarming experience and it was in a very uncomfortable experience. And so I took my time with it and I was honest with myself about my feelings and I had to just do kind of what I do with my fail book. And instead of that, it was more just going through my feelings and reminding myself that I overcame it. And this is my opportunity to voice this to other women who might be experiencing it too. So I just had to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, essentially, and do a lot of self work to get me through it.
What was the reason you wanted to share? What do you hope that this book will help others with?
I have a daughter. And so in the book, I talk about how, despite my love and my passion for my mother and admiration of her own beauty, that do not want to make the same mistake for my own daughter. I don't want to do anything that would allow her to grow up and have a suffocating mindset or practice like perfectionism. I don't want her to grow up with any self limiting or self doubting beliefs. And if I am one who contributed to that, that would just shatter my world. And so, as a mother, I want to make sure that I do better and talk about this so that I can do better for her. And I work with a lot of women who are career moms, and I hope to inspire them to do the same. We are in our phase of our lives where we are building the next generation of women who thrive, of women who lead. And so we need to be more honest and open about our experiences, our struggles, what we've learned, so that we can do better for those who are going to come in this world and continue to maintain what we are doing here today.
Yeah, so inspiring and amazing. I am a mom as well, and I have a beautiful daughter, and totally resonate. And this is the moment that you were brave to face your truth, to speak your truth, and perhaps change that narrative and break that chain for your daughter and your children. If people felt inspired to connect with you, maybe follow more about your journey, how can people do that?
Yes. So my primary platform is Instagram. And so you can find me there. My tag name is at leadership with Kristi B. And so I know that you'll post that in the show notes for everybody. If Instagram is not your jam and you feel more comfortable with email, then I have that available as well. But that is the major platform I operate out of. It provides me the most work-life balance. And so I'm happy to connect with people there.
Amazing. Well, of course, all the information to connect with Christy will be in the show notes. And I do encourage you to grab a copy of the latest volume 4 of the Women Thrive book, inspiring true stories of women overcoming adversity. And there are so many amazing stories, including Christie's, that will hopefully inspire you and also show you that you're not alone in your challenges, that other women have been through some of the similar things that you might be going through, and hopefully to inspire you to speak your truth one day or write your own story. Because as you've heard, it is a transformational and an interesting experience that you may never thought would be possible for you. Kristi, it's been a pleasure today. I know we're out of time, but I look forward to seeing you in Miami for a book launch event.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to everyone here who is listening and engaging with us today. And I look forward to what you do, I do, and all of the women here do in the future.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. If you have listened to this podcast, then make sure you head over to the show notes and connect with Kristi. Look out for her programs and support. And if you are currently growing or changing, transitioning in your career and want some leadership and development skills and mentoring and support, do make sure you reach out to Kristi. We'll look forward to seeing you on another podcast. And Kristi, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.